Welcome to Nadia Creates. This week on this channel, I'm going to start my seeding process for my patio garden. I live in the Vancouver, BC area, and I don't have a house anymore, so I do patio garden, balcony gardening, pot gardening. So I want to start the seed process and take you through the whole process, and this is very much a learning curve, pot gardening in a different climate from living on the east coast of Canada to now living on the west coast of Canada. It's a whole new learning process for me. I'm not a master gardener by any means, and learning from a lot of fails that happened last year, my first growing season out here for patio gardening. So I just wanted to take you through what I'm going to be doing. I don't know if it's going to be a weekly update on this channel, at least this early on. Probably it's not going to be weekly until things are actually outside and flourishing and growing, update wise. So I just wanted to show you what I do. Obviously I'm inside and I just have some newspaper down to keep the mess contained, and then I'll just go through what I'm going to be starting with this year. I'm not really complete yet because I'm still changing up the pot situation and still deciding on what I'm going to do. So I just wanted to take you through the basics, show you my seeding, and then I will see you in a couple of weeks from now. Okay, so I'm going to take you through with some of the tools that I'm going to be using. So of course, most importantly, to starting with my bag of potting mix, I use Miracle-Gro. I don't always stick with a brand name. Sometimes I just use whatever the store brand is when it comes to filling up the big pots. This is just what I'm using to start the seeds with, so I wanted to use something a little that I hope works a little better. Went to the dollar store and picked up some containers. These were the cardboard starter pots that are paper, and so you can put them right into your big pots that your vegetables or herbs or fruit are going to go into without having to keep transferring them from seedling to actual plant. And this was a 36 count for $1.50. And then I got the more traditional ones. That was 4 trays, with 12 different compartments, and that was $1.25 at the dollar store. What else? Oh yeah, I had these trays from last year. This is just what I put my seedlings on when they were growing, so they're just easy to transport. If I wanted to take them, I could just, transport them easier instead of one by one. If they're all laid out like this, you just transport them like that. Sorry if I'm breathing really heavy. I'm probably a little nervous. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then I use these in my house plants, but I also use them here. These are just pop them out for you. These are just the Miracle-Gro food spikes. And it says it feeds plants up to 60 days. And these are for the plants that I'm going to be growing to. I'm not just growing fruits and vegetables and herbs. I'm also growing some flower, so I'll actually get to some, not all of the seeds that I'll be using this year. So actually I'll start this. You're probably wondering, why does she have a container of tomatoes here? This is actually a trick that I learned from Pinterest last year, and a gentleman actually, if I can find the website, I will pin it. But if you have a favorite tomato, whether it's the larger tomatoes or these smaller mini plum grape tomatoes, you can actually slice them in half, and I'll show you in a second, and just put the slices with the seeds in them, and then start your gardening from there. And I don't necessarily use this brand, but I just look for certified organic, and these are USDA organic mixed medley cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to do a good amount of those because I do eat a lot of tomatoes. To help keep it's not completely foolproof, but to keep the bugs at bay, marigolds. So I have some yellow marigolds, orange marigolds. These are petite, mixed variety. And then just because they're pretty, some pansies. Yeah, these are all annual flowers, meaning you have to plant them every year, I think. Or is it you don't have to plant them every year? I think you have to plant them every year when it says annual. Perennial is, I think they keep coming back. If I'm wrong, sorry, I'm not perfect. Like I said, I'm not a master gardener. I'm just a person learning about gardening in the different climate of Canada. So that's the flowers. Oh, and then one more flower. I found some flowers that I absolutely love. Various cities around in the lower mainland. I didn't pick the flowers. I just picked the bulbs that had died and fallen off of the ground so I could get the seeds. And I have written here, it says Asia flowers, but honestly, I don't know if that's the proper name. But the smell was absolutely gorgeous, and the flowers were gorgeous, and they can handle a little bit of cooler weather and hot weather, so I want to try my hand at growing this type of flower. So on to lettuces. I have a few varieties of lettuce here that I'm going to use, and this is a mild mix of various lettuces. This is a mighty micro salad lettuce mix. And this is a lettuce black seeded Simpson lettuce mix. So I'm going to be doing those varieties of lettuce. Going to be doing some Asian vegetable snow pea snowflakes and peas, just the regular green heirloom green peas. And to keep on the greens, some Swiss chard. I do enjoy some Swiss chard. And if you can grow it yourself, and these are really awesome because they can handle the cooler weather. It does get hot out here, but it's generally cooler. So these can handle the cooler weather. Some basil, of course, because basil is probably one of my favorite herbs. I'm going to be doing some dill, some chives. I love chives and green onions, some of my favorites. And some watercress. I don't know if I'm going to do that this week. I do have a few more. I need to get some oregano, thyme, and rosemary. Anyway, we'll talk about that when I have them next week or 2 weeks from now. I have some newspaper down, gloves because I don't want to get dirt in my fingernails even though they're short, some spoons, and a knife to cut open my bag. And I'm probably going to do a few extra because sometimes, last year I didn't have a lot of luck with a lot of them, and then I was like, oh crap, I only tried seeding 1 or 2, and then I had to start over and start super late, so it's better to have a little extra than not enough in my books. Do scooping, because that's just easier than trying to spoon that. Okay, we're just going to literally just put a little indent in all of these. Cut these up first, and I want some of the yellow and of the orange, so I'm going to do these 3. Ooh, this knife is dull. I'll be back. Okay, so we will continue here, and I'm actually have my knife, and I'm going to slice up my tomatoes and make sure you have the part with the seeds, because obviously if it doesn't have seeds, it's not going to do anything. So you can see that there's seeds in there, seeds, and then I'm going to place them in there. Probably going to do 3. 1 in each one, the most amount of seeds. And I'm just going to stick it on one of them. You know, I know what, that entire tray is all tomatoes. So it's just another identification tool that I use, and then I can put these in the windowsill or wherever when I'm done. These ones, I'm going to start with the marigold. So I'm actually going to go ahead and write these ones on here of what they actually are. These ones are mixed pansy, because that's what I'm doing right now. They usually say 1, but I like to put, for safe measure, I like to put 2. I don't know if that is doing anything to the growth by putting 2 seeds versus 1, but that's what I'm going to do. So it comes in that package, and then it comes in, inside that is this little package. That's what the seeds look like. So like I said, I'm going to drop 2. And then the lettuce. I don't think that was recording for a bit of time, but that's okay. So I'll go over what I did in 1 second. But yeah, everything is in their respective trays and labeled with little sticks with written with a Sharpie on them. So I have herbs, lettuces, a couple herbs, lettuces, 2 rows of basil. These are all tomatoes, except for these last 2. This is a mixed lettuce and a regular green leaf lettuce. I'll just show you. I'll just show you where it's going to be. Obviously the patio is not cleaned off, and it's a good thing that it's still cold out, so I still have time. But there's the patio that everything is going to be on. You could probably see a few little pots from last year in the corner. But yeah, that's the patio. Don't mind that. But this is where it's going to be growing on when the weather warms up a bit. Okay, so these are where for now, these are going to be sitting in my windowsill where it gets plenty of light and sunshine. So that is where they are going to be for now. I would love to put them on the windowsill of the patio door to the balcony, but unfortunately I have a cat who will probably try and eat them when they start coming up, or just dig up in the dirt. So that is where they are right now, in my windowsill in my bedroom. So yeah, that is it for week 1 of growing the patio garden on Nadia Creates, and I will see you next time.